Ladies and gentlemen, it's aCHICKENsammich here, bringing you a commentary that I really just wanted to do kind of a philosophical commentary today. I am bringing you some Titanfall gameplay. It is a capture the flag match, and I really don't play the objective that much. I do try and get the flag, but there's this guy camping the flag on both sides, and so I just decided to take some revenge on him, kill him a few times, and just run around their base and kill everybody guarding the flag. I die quite a bit, but I kill a lot more. Okay. Subject of today's commentary is, I kind of want to talk about the duality of man. Kind of how people tend to have two sides to themselves. I'm going to give a couple of pop culture instances in superheroes. We often see superheroes in two roles. And a lot of people will often confuse both sides of the superhero as the same person. Now, I will argue that whenever I watch like a Batman film, that the person playing Batman also has to play Bruce Wayne. They are two completely different people. They have to be able to manifest two different roles in playing Batman and Bruce Wayne. That's why I don't like some of the films, some of the Batman films, because the actor chosen can't embody both roles well. Now, I believe like the person who did the best as being Batman and Bruce Wayne was Michael Keaton. And a lot of people are gonna hate me because they're like, oh, Michael Keaton, like, what about Christian Bale? Christian Bale was a bad Batman in my opinion. He played a better Bruce Wayne than Batman. He kind of symbolized the wrath of Batman and, like, the angry side of Batman. Whereas, like, I like the Tim Burton films with Michael Keaton because Michael Keaton played a good Batman and a Bruce Wayne, whereas like Val Kilmer, who did Batman Forever, didn't do a great job as Bruce Wayne. I didn't like his Bruce Wayne. His Batman was okay though. Now George Clooney probably had the best Bruce Wayne, but he was a horrible Batman because when it come down to it, he was just Bruce Wayne as Batman. So he did not embody the duality of the character. Now, another character which has to have an embodiment of duality is Spider-Man. Peter Parker has to be the nervous, the kind of timid nerd, whereas Spider-Man is very boastful, kind of proud, kind of taunting superhero when you see the personality types. I mean, yeah, they're both smart, but on both sides of the coin, like if you look at a coin, it's all metal, but both sides are different, but they share at least one common trait. Now, not all characters in pop cultures are embodied by duality. Now, when Duality of Man is kind of like a coin, we each have a different side to each other. The villain Two-Face is to me a metaphor of humanity, whereas we all have on the Harvey Dent side is the straight-laced, by the law guy out for justice, and on the other side there is the maniac, the chaos side, and out for vengeance. You know, there is a duality to everybody, otherwise you'd be very one-dimensional. You have very shallow, not very predictable, very, vapid, I think is a word that you can use to describe a person who does not have two sides. And yes, both sides can be good, both sides can be bad. There could be the side where, like, if you tend to be more reserved on one side and the other side is more aggressive. That would be an excellent way to describe the duality, which could affect both good and evil. And I mean, the duality of man goes more than just two sides of the person. People tend to think in twos, like there has to be one side and another side. There's always a good and evil. There's a beginning and end. There's a lot of there's a lot of twos in our society. I mean, there's a man, woman, black, white, up, down. There's a lot of people tend to think in twos, whereas they're like, it's either this way or that way. It's either going to end good or it's going to end bad. A lot of people tend to not think in the gray area, even though they tend to think it's all gray. They still have a black and white point of view, that there is either one way or not. There's either strict or loose. People tend to think that all men it's either winners or losers, which is kind of my mentality, because I tend to think you either win or you lose. There's no in between. But the thing about it is, the reason why I think that is if you lose, you have a reason to get better. Whereas if you kind of win, like participation trophies, it tend to be like, oh, okay, you did good enough to get an award. Whereas if it was a winner and loser, you would strive to get the better award instead of like, oh, here's a consolation prize. Consolation prizes are crap, but that's a commentary for another time. The duality of men. When I say men, I mean mankind, the human race. I'm not trying to think that only men can be multifaceted or two-faced or even have two sides to them. I mean, women can too. I mean, we all tend to have our one way that I have two sides to me is I have my professional side, into which whenever I work, and then I have my home side, which I tend to be more relaxed, more on the ease. I tend to not be so serious when I'm at home, and I tend to want to do fun stuff. I tend to want to cook, relax. And then there's always the duality of man. I can go back into pop culture and I can talk about one of the best quotes I can think of to describe the duality of men was from the movie Kill Bill, Volume 2, towards the end of the film, whenever the bride is looking across the room at Bill, and he says, I'm keen on comic books, but do you know who my favorite comic book hero is? It's Superman. Because unlike other superheroes where Batman becomes Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, where Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man and whatnot, Superman is Superman. He has to become Clark Kent at the end of the day. Where that's an interesting turn of duality too, because Superman is Superman. He has to become Clark Kent. He was born Superman. And the duality of kind of Kill Bill is that Bill, he's a cold-hearted killer, but he's also a father, and he takes care of his kid, and he's done a lot to protect the kid, I believe, but also kind of protect the bride, because like at the beginning of Kill Bill Volume 1, you see Daryl Hannah's character go to assassinate the bride, but Bill goes, nah, call it off, she's suffered enough. And so he, as a person who wanted to kill her, protected her as well for a specific reason, to protect the mother of his child. And so the duality of man also causes the people to be bipolar in such ways to where you can instantly change your mind on something. Like if all of a sudden one word could flip the switch in your mind to completely change your resolve on an issue. Say you're going to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, one of my favorite things. As a matter of fact, before I made this commentary, I was going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then I went down and I got my plate and I was setting up everything to get there, and then I found out my bread was bad, and I was like, nope, I'm not having that. I changed my mind on a whim, mostly because I didn't have any bread. But there is there is also I mean, like we think in twos. It's as simple as that. It's either good or bad. It's either you know, it's really hard to go on to this topic too much more without just making people angry, because like I could talk about like how people really think black and white, kind of like racist black and white. It's usually us against them, or it's or everybody is always against me because I'm a certain way or I belong to a certain group. You know, it's just, it's an either or thing, and people really don't understand that, like, to think that way is really hurting your cause. Like if you think, oh, it's one way or the other, but there's usually another solution, you know. I mean, that's just, if you think about all the issues that you have and think there are only two ways out of those issues, then, you know, then you're not looking at all the options. I mean, the duality of man is something that has gone on for millennia, thousands of years. You know, it's caused tribalism. It's caused racism. It's caused everything. One of the favorite people who I like to quote when it comes to mind of thinking is Doc Brown from Back to the Future. You got to think fourth dimensionally, and that's a commentary for a different time. But if you want, look up to what it really means to think fourth dimensionally. It gives you the ability to think out all the answers. You know, you got to think how this is going to affect things, how that. Well, guys, it's been a great commentary. I hope you enjoyed what you've listened to, and if you have an opinion on this, please leave it in the comments section down below. This has been a chicken sandwich, and thank you for watching my video. Bye.